Now we're going to cover web forms, and we're going to talk about a lot of detail that actually is going to be required to work effectively with handling and processing forms. Now we'll also talk later about a user registration form. We're going to mention it in this section as well. But later on, when we talk about website interactivity, we're really going to put all the pieces together for user registration and go over that in great detail. So you want to check out those videos. Lots of detail to talk about there, but we're going to cover a lot of it here in the working with web forms as well as the database section. So here we're just going to figure out what we can do on the server and client side to get this to work. This web form you can use. It's just an example at the moment here. Note that we have some session variables that are in place. It's the same form that we're going to be using later. It just exists in this folder here, and you can take a peek at it, but you can also just look and follow along without a problem based on what I'm talking about here, and you can also effectively create things based on what I'm showing you here. It's great to have the source files, but at the same time, there's a lot of detail in here that you're going to be able to create them on your own, and you'll be able to process things effectively. We're going to really discuss the effectiveness of getting things done in a really robust way. All right, so let's get into that. We just have all the forms open here, not necessarily a requirement to have everything open at the same time. It just makes it easier to talk about things. The user registration is the same user registration form, and you can see that later. I just have it again in the same folder, as well as web forms, just so you can click on something and take a peek at it. I'm really just going to say that this is a web form. This is what you're going to process. You're going to have form fields, selection boxes, required fields. This form receives variables from the session into the page here, uses JavaScript on the bottom to actually set things. It also has a way that we can fill in samples. By clicking that, JavaScript is going to set that up for us, and we can submit the data to the server side, and then we can start to process the information. Everything's going to be accounted for. We're even going to use encryption, MD5, to get this password into the database and not have it be viewable so that somebody can look into your database or even just see what you're doing. It doesn't matter if they work for your company or work for the company that owns the data. You don't necessarily want strangers looking in there. We know that just because somebody owns the company doesn't mean that all their employees actually are doing the right thing. So we want to make sure that's secure. And we'll also take a look at the database side, and you can see that the database is going to contain a lot of information for us. And like I said, the password is going to be encrypted, so you don't have to worry about it. And again, this is using the PHP MyAdmin. So check out the database videos for more details on getting that started.